With the button. Okay, we are live. And let's see, do we have anybody? Because we did not announce it earlier today. Yeah. All right, we are live. And it looks like we're by ourselves. Oh, we got one person. All right. Hey, Sunshine has joined us with Prison Wife Ministry. I see Wifey Parks has joined. Thank y'all for joining. I'm trying to read over here. Bougie Bala,
Christian Sherry, how are you?
All right, so we are live now, and we're going to get started. I am Danielle Steele Williams.
Keith Williams.
And I am founder of For the Lives of Prison Wives and author of Prayers of a Prison Wife. Prayers of a Prison Wife can be found on Amazon or at the store link on my Facebook page or my website, forthelivesofprisonwives.com. Now, let me get started. I said a lot, but now I got to catch my breath.
Oh, you tired already?
Already. All right. So, for those of you joining us for the first time, my husband, Keith, served 14 and a half years of a 22
and a half years.
22 and a half year sentence. Thank you. 14 and a half years. And I served the time with him on the outside. So after he got released in February, so it's been a year and some months now that he's been home. We talked about this for a long time, even when he was in there, just being able to come out and share our story. So he did not serve that time. Thankfully, he was blessed and fortunate enough to come home early due to a law that passed. So some of you all who are waiting, don't give up hope. Continue to pray for your loved ones. And before we get started, I do want to say we're thinking about and praying for those, especially during this time with the coronavirus going around. We know how it can be in the prison system when sickness, and this is something totally new for all of us. So again, our prayers are with you. All right. And before I get started too, I want to say, please, we're sharing our story, but we also want to hear what you all want to, what you want to know and talk about.
A little Q&A.
Yeah. So feel free to DM, drop some questions in the comments, DM, inbox, YouTube, comment, whatever, so we can create some of these topics and answer your questions as well. Okay. So today we thought about something I would say not so serious because it really is up to you.
Can I cut you off for a second?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say something because I just had a phone call last night from one of my friends who was actually my first cellmate.
Oh, yeah.
In the Bureau of Prison System. A guy named, we call him Grease. Everybody in the system has a nickname, but his real name is Fowler, and he had a life sentence for like a 2-key conspiracy, some drug paraphernalia he was never in possession with, whatnot. Anyway, he got sentenced to a life sentence. And as a recent, some of the laws have helped him out to get a sentence reduction. So his sentence has been taken off of a life, and he got 32 years. Now take it, Stephen has been in prison since 1997. And I was just so happy for him because now he has about 6 more years to do. But he says he had some things that were actually in court at this time that could possibly release him immediately. So give all your prayers out to Stephen Fowler. Annette, who was his wife before he went incarcerated. They have a couple kids. He has a couple grandkids. This is a person that has been on a 23-year journey, and his wife is still there. So know that through this story, it can happen.
Yes.
Just stay prayed up and just continue to focus and do what you need to do, because you never know what God's going to do one of these days, and it actually happened for him. And I'm so happy for him. And I just like to say, hey, man, congratulations. Annette, congratulations for sticking in there and going through the journey with him, and it was just something that touched my heart. And I wanted to share that with all you all.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for sharing, because we got that call last night. When you hear life, and we formed a relationship just because he was my husband's first cellmate, and he just kind of showed him the ropes. So he would always contact me and talk to me throughout the time he's been there. But to hear that he got the life removed, and for me, I haven't done time, physically done time in there. But it was amazing to just hear like how happy he was, just to have that life sentence removed. And some of us might be like, well, dang, he still got 6 more years. But now he can see the light.
Yeah,
so
because
that's what matters.
Life sentence in a federal sentence is life, means you never go home. You're there. You're there. You're going to get buried in a box somewhere on their property. So that was just a blessing, and it was a priceless moment, and something that I was just so passionate about him sharing with me because of the way our relationship has been throughout the duration of my incarceration. So I wanted to share that with you guys.
All right, so thanks for sharing it. So we chose the topic, is it selfish to ask your loved one to wait? And I thought about this topic because I've seen in my group and some other groups, and even just myself going through the journey, and people finding out like, oh, you're a prison wife. Once you're finally free enough and feel good enough to share it, then that's when you have to prepare yourself for the judgment. So it's like, oh, you're a prison wife. And I've heard people say, well, don't you think that's selfish of your husband to ask you to wait? And so that's where that topic came from. Is it selfish to ask for the incarcerated to ask their loved one to wait? So I think, you want me to go first?
I mean, I can always go, and you can always,
all right, so we'll just, okay,
conversation, go ahead. But you ask yourself, is it selfish? First of all, let's look at our everyday lives, people. Anything we do in society today is all about what we want to do, so it's our choice. You have to understand that people have a choice to decide what they want to do as far as what involves in their life. It's not anything that's being forced on an individual. It's all about a choice. When this situation occurred in our lives at the time, it was a choice. And I chose at the time to tell Danielle that, hey, I think you need to go on with your life. And it was her choice to decide to say, hey, no, I'm not going anywhere. And, these choices have a lot of factors other than the two people that's involved in a relationship. You might have kids, you might have mothers and fathers and uncles and aunties and different people that are actually in the relationship that has an opportunity to get to fellowship with each one of you all to see where the relationship could blossom at, regardless of what the situation at hand could be. So it's all about choice. Don't think that because a person is free that they're the only ones that's choosing, because when you're incarcerated, you have a choice as well. You choose to put a phone number on your list. You choose to add someone on your email. You choose to send them a visitation list. It's not like you all can just, hey, stop by and say, hey, I'm about to see such and such. No, that's not how this goes. So it's a choice, but it's a choice on both sides. It's something that each party has to be willing to do. So you can never judge a person because they decide to do something that you may not be strong enough to do, because their will may be greater than yours. Don't bash them for that. Encourage them for that, because it takes a strong individual to say, hey, I'm going to stick by whether it's a woman or whether it's a male, I'm going to stick by them through these times, because we've had better times before these worse times, and it's going to get better. It's all about what you decide to do as an individual, where you want your life to go later on. Can you see yourself blossom with the individual? Can you see yourself mature with the individual? Can you see yourself progress with this individual? It's a lot of factors that weigh in it. So you have to think about what is best for you at the time, but it's always your choice.
Yeah. And like he said, he told me to go on with my life, and yes, he did eventually. And at first he asked, and I remember, the phone call, because the thing is, the phone calls got expensive because we thought we were going to be able to talk every day. That ended quickly. We couldn't talk every day. So once the phone calls had to slow down, then reality started to sink in. And honestly, I thought about it. He said, well, just let me know what you decide. And even after making my decision, I'm going to stay. I choose to stay. That's when he said, that's when you told me no, go on with your life. So again, it wasn't a decision that I just came to. It's something that I prayed about. Something, I had children. I had my family. Basically, was like, it's up to me, whatever I decide. And I mentioned in other lives, I was blessed and fortunate to have family that supported me, because I'm running into so many people that don't have family to support them. So yes, it was a choice that I made. And then once I made the choice, I had to be ready and strong enough to face those people that judged me. And I've seen other ladies in that I've come across that are in the same situation. How do you deal with the judgment? First of all, it's up to you. Once again, you have a choice. Are you going to share it? It's totally up to you. You don't have to share it until you get comfortable.
But how can someone judge anyone? The only one that's able to judge anyone is the man upstairs, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. You can't judge anyone. What you can do is you could actually ask questions, and that's the best way to get the type of information to give you the tools that you need to be able to understand what a person is deciding to do, because it's choice. He gave us free will. He gave us he gave us the strength to be able to say, hey, this is what I want to do, and this is what I don't want to do. Is something wrong in someone loving someone and wanting to continue a relationship even though they're incarcerated? Ask yourself that.
I wrote a blog post on my website, For the Lives of Prison Wives. Inmate to you, husband to me. And I think it really related to a lot of the females in the situation. So if you haven't read it, or if you haven't seen it, go to the forthelivesofprisonwives.com, look at that article, or I'll talk about it on my YouTube channel too. But basically what it says is you have a choice. So many people think that you're weak. You can't be weak. You can't be a weak-minded person doing this, because you got the judgment of so many people. Not only that, you have to live your life based on a schedule that's not yours, So I'm living off of the prison schedule, the routine that he has in prison is what I have to have. A lot of times the females would feel like, well, and I can't say, because maybe it is control. So if it's really controlled, then no, I'm not for that. But what I'm saying is, you may be looking at it in a different perspective, or try looking at it sometimes in a different perspective. They're on a schedule. We live in our lives. Yes, we have our schedule, but our schedule some type of way have to come together. So in order for that to happen, I would tell him like, okay, well, this is what we're doing today. So he basically knew, okay, well, I'm getting up, I go to work. After school, the kids are going to do here. So he knew what time to call and catch me. Because in between that time, if he didn't catch me, like we talked about earlier, you said, just like we're worried about them, like you have a lot of family members right now that are stressing and anxious just simply because of the coronavirus. In there, you're just at a loss. They don't tell you anything. If they're on lockdown, a lot of times they don't even get to call and tell you they're on lockdown. You may go to the website, it might not be posted that they're on lockdown. So you have all type of thoughts that go through your head, So I went all off. But where was I?
Oh, you basically saying, about the schedule.
Yeah, the schedules. Yes. So with that schedule being in place, he had to call me at a certain time, and that's the way that we made things work.
We just made both of our schedules a little bit more structured.
So it's not always, a bad thing. It's not always control. That's how you communicate. It's basically
I wouldn't even say it was control. It was growth.
Growth, and then like you said, y'all are in there worried about us. Just like we're worried about y'all. Exactly. That's where I was headed.
But people on the outside don't think that we worry about our loved ones on the outside. They think that we're the only ones that's being worried about. And that's not the whole, whatever people are hearing is misconstrued, because we worry about you all just as much as you all worry about us, because it's factors that are in play that we can't control. We don't know. We don't get information unless it's told to us, unless it's by computer or letter about by us making phone calls on the outside, and that's really hard to deal with when you're inside, for the simple fact that you're limited, but you all aren't limited. So, a lot of the information is fed in from you all on the outside, but at the same token, we worry if we call and we know the schedule is supposed to be this way and we don't hear from you, or we don't get an email at certain times. it makes us worry because we're still human beings at the end of the day. That worry about their family, love their family, cares about their family, only wants what's best for the family, So, these stereotypes just need to stop, honestly. I mean, I've just heard over the years what some women think and what people think about people incarcerated, and just know that 1 out of 3 Americans are in prison.
Actually, 1 out of 2.
Yeah, are in prison. So, and everybody that's on this feed, everybody that's out here in society, in that household, they have somebody that's in prison, period. Regardless of how you feel about them, what you think about them, understood that it was something that led them there, and it could lead you there because it's not biased. It's not, for one type of individual. It's not any, you can just get caught up. The system is so set up for you to easily fail that you can just make the wrong move, and the next day you're in prison, and you don't know, well, next day you're in jail and then going to prison and don't know how it even happened, because a lot of us are not familiar with the different type of laws, rules, and regulations that the governments have in play because you're ignorant to the fact, and that's just how it goes right now.
But you touched on something else about growth, and that's another thing I was going to say. So if you make the choice, and if you're serious about making the choice and you're serious about making it work, then it's a time to focus and, take advantage and grow the relationship. Because what we've learned and when you take a job, when you go to work and you want to know what your salary is. You're working for your salary, right? You're working for, you need your health benefits. So it's the same thing with a relationship. You have to put in the same work. People don't, that's what I've learned along the way. Even before we weren't putting in work like that on the relationship. But that's one thing I can say. Prison, you can take advantage of that time because somebody has to sit still. Mm-hmm. In this situation, I had to keep going out here, but my husband had to keep still. And it was easier because if he had not kept still, this growth process would have been even longer, or it might not have even taken place. So take advantage of the time, grow together. And just like there are benefits to the job and to work, focus on the benefits of having a loved one, of having unconditional love, of having your family. That's far more important than the benefits of course, we got to have the salary and everything to survive, but you know what I'm saying?
I see right over here, we got a question. I'm just going to briefly pause this. We have a question from Warrior Woman, and she asks, how did he adjust once he has gotten out so far as career goes? Well, let me tell you this, Warrior Woman, I appreciate you for your question. I appreciate you for you tuning in to Loyal Ladies tonight. And it was a journey. When I first got home, I was really anxious, but at the same token, going through the halfway house had a lot of stipulations as far as me being able to see my family. So when I first got home, I actually started working at a restaurant, and I did that so I would be able to get weekend passes. Being that the halfway house I was in was about an hour away from the city where I currently live, it was a lot of it was limited opportunities. So I got with the owner that owned the restaurant. And I had a good first impression. He liked me. He loved how I speak with him. I was honest and genuine about the conversation that the two of us had. And he gave me an opportunity. I actually became his best waiter that he had. And I did that for a few months while I was at the halfway house. And then I had another opportunity working at a local plant in Tuscaloosa for a company called Road and Rail. J.C. Thompson Sr., how you doing, sir? And I stayed there for some months, put in hard work, got promoted, got to another position where I had a little bit less responsibilities, but a lot more pay. And I did that for a while until I actually got hired on inside Mercedes-Benz plant. And I did that for a while. And after a while, building cars or whatnot is a little harder than what people think. And being that I'm a 42-year-old, it was a lot of wear and tear on my body over a period of time. My hands were locking up. My elbows were always hurting. But I had already had a plan when I had got home because I actually want to start my own trucking company. But being that society has changed so much over the years since I've been in and then now I'm out, everything now is about credit. It's not about money. It's all about credit. So I was trying to reestablish my credit because after 14 and a half years of being gone, my credit was basically dormant and non-existent. So I had to kind of get my credit back together. So about 3 weeks ago, whatnot, I had actually, months ago, I had actually paid to go to my CDL school at a local college in the area that we live in. And I was just going to school. I was actually on my 3rd week of school to attain my CDL, going through the 8-week course process, and they shut the school down. So currently, I'm unemployed, not ashamed to say it, trying to see what's going to go on with the school so I continue the program. But at the same token, I'm still focused on what was at hand as far as attaining my CDL so I can go ahead and start my trucking company, something I'm kind of passionate about. I have a business management degree. I have a Bachelor of Science business management degree from Alabama State University, something that I'm very anxious to use, a tool that I wasn't using beforehand because I was so caught up in being in the streets. But now it's kind of at a standstill. But, I got faith in the Lord. The Lord's got me this far. I understand that God is good. He's got me where I am right now. So for me to turn my back and say, hey, man, this is not going to happen. Well, now I'm not going to do that because I was not supposed to be home until the year 2024. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today, regardless of what lawmakers, do or whatnot. It's all God that instills the will for a man to do what he's supposed to do in the first place. So I'm doing good, though. It's not hard. A lot of guys that's in there think it's hard. It's not hard. You have to come out with a whole nother mentality, but it starts in there, not out here. You have to go ahead and adjust yourself. You have to go ahead and be willing to go ahead and sacrifice for the sake of your family, the sake of the same people that sacrifice for you while you're in there. Give them the same love that they give you while you're in there out here. And I've been doing that, and I don't mind doing it because it's fulfilling. It makes me feel good to actually do something productive, come home and get hugs and just, I'm so proud of you and all that. You know what I mean? It's a good feeling. So, Warrior Woman, that's actually what's going on with me right now, and the next chapter start up as soon as this epidemic, it comes to a standstill, which it will, just trust and believe it will.
Yeah, and as far as him adjusting from prison, I can honestly say I didn't have any doubts because I knew your determination. You always had determination, even though you had determination in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
But hey,
happens to the best of us.
Yes, but my point is you're determined. So I know your determination, so I know what's going to happen. And I've always told you then, I'm proud of you. And as far as adjusting, as far as the children, that was honestly myself too. I knew the work part would be fine. I didn't have any doubts there. But my scariest moment, I think, was like just him being here with the kids because he's never been daddy to teenagers. He's been daddy from prison, and that's a whole different ball game. So, yeah. And the thing is, we're not going to talk about everything because we'll say some of this for other topics. Y'all are giving us other topics, just from these questions. Kristen says, what would you say the benefits are of marrying someone who is incarcerated? I would say the benefit basically is what I talked about earlier. You can grow together. Being able to grow together is that's another level. I would also say because you're connecting mentally. You communicate more. Because just keeping it 100, our communication was not good before all of this. We was talking at each other, talking crazy to each other. In the beginning, we used to hang up on each other, everything. And we just had to get it together. And like, if we're going to do this, we're going to have to learn how to talk to each other and do it the right way. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't have done that without God, So basically, I would say that's the benefits, being able to grow together. And so, like he said, he's doing work to prepare himself. You have to start in there. You can't just come out here and then want to start. It's almost too late, and it makes it more difficult, I think.
But then, Christian, the benefit also is that obviously for you to ask the question, it must be someone that you actually love, that you want to be with. And if that's not enough to answer the question right there, I don't know what it is. For you to actually want to marry someone means that you actually genuinely love them. But then it's different kinds of love, but the best kind of love is what God talks about as far as an agape love, an unconditional love. You love someone unconditionally, regardless of the situation. When you get married, what, in sickness and health, to death do us part. These are some of the vows that you say when you get married.
Better or worse.
Yeah. So if that's what it is with you, then it's nothing. It's no question to ask as far as the benefits, because the benefits is what you all have together. It's love. And love comes in all different forms and fashion. And love is not just about physical love. It's about mental and emotional love too. It's about having that connection. It's something deeper than just a regular relationship. It's easy to have a relationship with someone on the outside, but do you really love them? Do you love what they do for you? Do you love how they make you feel? But mentally and emotionally, do they know you? Come on, let's get the whole. We want everything. We want all the factors. I saw another question somewhere. I'm not sure if it was on Instagram or was it on Facebook. If we missed some questions, I apologize. Things are kind of moving a little fast. And
this is Kristen's question one more time. Kristen said, I'm married to my husband who's incarcerated, but sometimes when people ask me that, I don't have a clue what to say. I guess you're saying you don't have a clue if you want to say that he's incarcerated. Is that what you think it is?
More likely. Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, honestly, first of all, and don't take this the wrong way, but the way I live my life, I got so much going on in my life. I don't have time to worry about anybody else's life and who you're married to and what it's people around here that I see all the time. It doesn't mean I don't love you. I love you with the love of God, I promise. But I don't. But it doesn't matter.
But you know what this sounds like? What it sound like? Man, when we were in high school, we were growing up, parents teach you about peer pressure. Man, there's no peer pressure. We're all grown adults here. How can you pressure me to not love the person I love because of how you look at it? I can give a damn what you looking at. This is what I'm looking at every day. This is all that matters right here. And that's how you need to look at your soulmate or your significant other. This is what matters us to. What they're talking about does not matter.
Because at the end of the day, they're not the one putting the money on the book. They're not the one going to visit. They're not the one that's feeling however he makes you feel. They can't do that. And the thing that you put in the work for your relationship, just like anybody else put in the work out here for their relationship. Relationships out here go bad. Relationships in there go bad. What's the difference? It's a risk. It's all a risk, And then it's like, okay, well, we worked I chose to stay here and stay 20-some, 14, 10, whatever years. You got people out here that tried to make it work and they've divorced and they moved on to somebody else and they've divorced. And they moved on. So what? Who cares?
Listen, I've been around couples out here that we get along better than them, and they've never been through the situation we've been through. That's because they don't know each other. They don't know each other. I mean, I think Steve Harvey had a movie, Act Like a Man, Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man, or something like that.
Yeah.
The 90-day rule. After the 90-day rule, a lot of y'all really believe in the 90-day rule. What does that have to do with it? The 90-day rule, imagine a 14.5-year rule. It's totally different. 90 days, we going to do the 90 days of this and that. Come on, man. I mean,
but Kristen, honestly, once again, it's your choice. You got to be comfortable with it. And I can speak on that just being a female, because I've been there and I know how she feels, because I used to go to work. And it was hard because sometimes you isolate yourself when conversations take place. I found myself kind of, if people are talking about their husbands or their wives, and guess what? There's single people out here anyway. But that's just the way your brain starts working on you, just because you know where your husband is. So you automatically start getting in defense mode and you automatically get paranoid. And it might not even be a reason. They might not even ask you about your husband, But I noticed I would withdraw sometime around certain people. Some people I wouldn't know, but I got to that point where I finally was just comfortable and like, it is what it is, It's who I'm with.
And Sammy, I read your message. Continue to do what you're doing. It wasn't easy the first 3 years, but you've been through it 6 years.
And let me tell y'all,
continue.
Some of you ladies who are following, Sammy is one of them. Sammy and I are just Facebook friends, but I see her post all the time, and you can just see the love with she and her husband and her children have. I love her posts and pictures that she has and shares all the time. So, yeah, y'all will be fine.
It's all about growing. It's all about growing. Growth and development, man. Let's continue to grow. But grow with the one you love. Don't settle for something just because of the situation. No, that's not what we do. Just as Americans, we don't do that. We always fight for what we want. So fight. Continue to fight. Not only fighting while he's up in there, fight while he's in there. But fight a different way. Fight another fight because there are things.
And let me tell you the different way, just straight up. Like I tell you all the time, everything is spiritual, people. Everything is spiritual. Fight the spiritual battle. You got to pray for them. You got to pray for yourself. That's the fight you got to fight.
I want you to fight as far as advocating.
Yes, I agree.
For real prison and justice reform, advocate. Do what you can do. Numbers, people can't defeat numbers. Numbers scare people. So when you start fighting for a cause that you're passionate about and is righteous, fight. Stop sitting down and pushing it off for tomorrow like it's a workout. Oh, I'm going to start tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And then the next day it's another 5. Don't do that. Do what you can.
There's a lot of advocacy groups out here.
A few 10, 15 minutes, 30 minutes a day, fighting for something that you believe in, fighting for something that not only can affect your loved one, because it doesn't have to be your loved one that's actually your wife or your husband or whatnot in there. It could be a cousin or a second, third cousin, or just anybody out of your community that is going through some type of hardship based on the system. Fight, because it's not right. It's not all peaches and cream, but I will say you do have people that deserve to be in there, but you got so many that don't, not for the amount of time that they're given. 30 years, life sentences for nonviolent drug offenses just does not make sense, people. We have to do our part to be able to change. Obama preached on that during his election, change. You have to look to change things, but we do that as a mass group of people. There's like Daniel said, there's a lot of platforms out there that are in line for people to participate in, to bring awareness to situations. You've got numbers to your congressmen, to your senators, as far as telling them that you want different types of legislation based on this area to be pushed. These people need you to keep them in office, but they need the numbers. The numbers gets them going, But I thought this was a good topic because there's a lot of stereotypes about individuals that decide to stay with the person that they love because they have a hardship against them. Do you not remember that this person that they love was once out here with them? Do people not reflect on that? And then some people that on the inside find people that love them while they're there. Everyone deserves to be loved. There's different types of love.
All right, so I think we have actually covered a lot, answered the questions, and we will be back next Sunday. Y'all, please, whatever topic you want us to talk about, inbox it, DM, drop it in the comments, whatever. And because my battery is going low on both places. But thank you all for joining. What was I going to say? IG, follow me on Instagram at @4lives_prison wives, YouTube, 4 Lives of Prison Wives, Facebook, 4 Lives of Prison Wives. And also, if you are a prison wife, there is a group for the Lives of Prison Wife Loyal Ladies. Something else I was going to say, if you missed last week's collaboration with Prison Wife Ministry.
What time? Warrior Woman.
Sundays at 8 o'clock.
Sundays at 8 o'clock, Warrior Woman.
That's Central Standard Time, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, and that's 6 o'clock, I think, Pacific Standard Time. Yes, and I think that's everything I said. Again, that's Prayers of a Prison Wife. And we got to talk about this too. Prayers of a Prison Wife is on Amazon. Also, there is a link on the Facebook store. That's a button, a store button that you can go to purchase that book. All right, that's Prayers of a Prison Wife. All right, so thank y'all for joining. And I feel like I'm missing something. Yes, sir.
Everybody during the COVID-19 epidemic, I just want to say, hey, everybody stay safe. Make sure you try to wash your hands for 20 seconds. Keep your 6 foot social distance. We're going on quarantine tonight for 24 hours until April 11th, starting at 10 p.m. Where we currently reside. For anyone that's already facing those conditions, amen, just keep praying. Know that this is not prison. I can show you what prison looks like. This is not prison. Just get an opportunity to reflect with your family, grow with your family a little bit, fellowship with your kids a little more. Bring out the Monopoly games.
Ooh, I don't know.
The PS4s. We got the PS4 and the Monopoly game going over here. Just do what you can do right now. Don't try to eat a whole lot because we can't exercise the way we want to. Keep a healthy mind, healthy conscience. Same token, just appreciate you all joining us tonight. It's such an honor to be able to talk with you all. Share my story, engage in some questions, try to get people more insights on what actually transpires within the prison system and the justice system. Just encourage people. This is what this is about. It's about encouraging you and getting you to do the things that you want to do, but you may need a push to continue to do it. The guys in there love you. And obviously you all love them or you would not be here at this time. So like I said, we're going to see brighter days.
And let me just end with this note. We had watched Pastor Graves this morning, and he was talking about this time with the coronavirus and being in your feelings. And he said, when you get in your feelings, be the best you. And that's the important part. Focus and be the best you during this time. All righty. So thank y'all.